Okay, so we're here in their master shower here in their bathroom. And I believe that there's a leak probably coming from their bench here because it's dripping down below on the ceiling, on the floor below. So I'm looking here. You can see some ridiculously useless attempt that somebody had done in the past to try to seal this up. This is a lesson in how not to do it, folks. So if you came here looking for a how-to video, we're going to show you how to, but we're also going to show you how not to, and this is how not to. Stupidest thing I've ever seen in my life. So we're going to do this the right way. We're going to take this apart, and I mean, look at the mess these guys left. Just gobs of, I mean, who does something this unbelievably stupid and thinks they're going to collect a paycheck at the end of the day for this? So if any of my guys had done this for me, I'd be like, I'm not paying you. Good luck later. So you can see right here, look how big this gap is. So whoever made this little overlay bench here originally did the world's worst job of placing it down on there, because it doesn't even look like it was sealed very good. So we're going to fill it up with some silicone caulk. Alright, so here we're just going to see, this shouldn't even come up this easy, and it looks like they just filled the inside of this with foam, which I don't see what the heck that's supposed to do for you. That doesn't buy you anything. What they should have done was sealed it when they put this down. So we're going to have to scrape all of this off and maybe put some thin set down, or I might even use a sanded siliconized caulk to just glue the thing down, and once we glue it back down, we'll come back with all the corners, we'll hit all the corners with white silicone, which is what you're supposed to use. You're not supposed to use latex, folks. You are only supposed to use what says, it usually says like what, tub and shower. But I prefer just good old-fashioned pure white silicone. And wherever you have a change of plane, all of these areas here is where you put it, and underneath here. So there's not a drip, I don't feel a drip edge underneath here. So apparently the water would hit here and come in underneath and just work its way through this gap. There's about a 1/4 of an inch gap here that this thing sits on. And probably because whoever the bozo was that put this foam on here, all they did was elevate the shelf up, so now that left a huge gap. Not too bright. So we're going to fix that now. Alright, so this is the metal plate that we pulled out of here. So as you can see, they usually use just a metal stud here, very thin gauge metal. And see all the rust all over it? This is how much water has been on this thing over the years. And it's already just eroded down to nothing right here. And then we're going to take a look inside here. So here's what it looks like down in there. You can see all the rust everywhere, just piles of disintegrated metal and everything down there. And we think that the leak was probably right there in the center of the screen there. So we're going to go drill a hole from below where we saw the leak coming through the floorboard, and we're going to see if that's the spot. If that is indeed the spot, then we'll know that this is where the source of the leak was, but I'm pretty sure that this is it. And once we caulk everything back up here, we're going to make this look nice and pretty. Scrape off all this yuck that the previous handyman, for lack of a better word, put on here. And things are going to look very nice when we're done. Okay, so what we're looking at here now is the solution to our problem here for underneath the bench. So I've built this little support structure here, and this is just like a studded wall where this would be the bottom plate. These are your 4 studs. And I have a top plate, and this will get screwed onto the top of these, like that. And then we have plywood that's going to go across the front of this to support the forward face of the bench. And then a piece of plywood will go along the top here to take up the entire cavity space that's here where will sit into. And we will actually drill this into the subfloor by putting screws right here in these cavities here. So that will secure the structure to the subfloor. And then we will, once we get the plywood on top here, we are going to thin set down on top of that the top of the bench. And here is what the final piece looks like, with the wall already screwed into place here that I put this panel here that really makes things nice and secure. So now we're going to lower this entire apparatus here into the cavity for the bench inside the shower, and we'll screw it here, here, and here onto the subfloor. Well, here we are. We've put the wood apparatus inside the shower bench there, and if you look at the bottom there, you can see in each one of these cavities we've put a few screws down there. So this thing is now secured pretty well to the floor here. And I'm just going to do a mock setup here. We are going to add a top plate, and this will get screwed down. And then we have this piece of plywood here, and that's going to get screwed down as well. And you can see I cut off the tops of the studs so that they were all slanted, so that our bench top here will sit at an angle and water will drain off of it. That's the proper way to do it. I made it a little more of an angle in this case, simply because of the poor design of this shower and the way it was built originally by the builder. We want to make darn sure water drains and drains good. And so then our marble shelf here will sit on top of that. We're going to be putting thin set down, thin set mortar like they do with tiles, and we're going to tile it down. And as you can see, this is the thing here, but you're still going to have this gap, and that's just all the way that it was designed. You can't get the thing to lay flat on it. It was the way they built it. So we are going to fill this crack in here. We're going to fill that in with a sanded siliconized caulk. But anyway, here you can see how it's at a little bit of a slant here. And the reason why this is a bad design, we've pointed out before, is you never want to have the shelf come up against the wall like this in front of it, because now you're going to have an upward facing grout line, which water is always going to get down and get behind it and get down to the floorboards and leak down below. So nothing we can do about that unless we remodel this entire bathroom. So what we're going to do is we're going to put sanded siliconized caulk right in here. We're going to lay it in nice and thick too, so that it will fill in the entire crack and it will be nice and solid. And this whole thing will be cemented down, and we hopefully will never see another leak here. This would be a perfect time, if you haven't already, to hit the subscribe button down below. And once you hit that subscribe button, you'll see that little gray bell. Click on that, and that will alert you to every time we put a new video, so that you'll never miss a video. And also, if you like our video here, you can click on the thumbs up button down below. That lets us know that you like us. And any questions you have, please enter them in the comments down below too. Well, here we are back in the master bathroom. It's been overnight. We have let it dry. What we did was we back buttered the bench top here with the thin set mortar, and we also troweled on some thin set mortar beneath it on top of that wooden substructure that we made. So now, rock solid. You can hear it. It's completely rock solid all the way across. So this thing is now down, and now what we have to do is we got to put that siliconized caulk into these cracks that I mentioned to you earlier, and we're going to run it all the way up the walls as well for continuity, and run it down here. And don't forget, this is the part everybody forgets, the underneath part. Now, even though we kind of squeegeed in some thin set in there to help block those holes, remember that the thin set mortar is porous, so we have to put silicone there as well. That's a step that many people overlook because that's out of sight, out of mind. We still have to clean off this whole area here, and we're going to just re-caulk this entire area. This whole shower was never built right by the builder to begin with. Look at this gap. What kind of idiot leaves a gap that big when they're building a shower? That's just completely moronic, the way they designed this thing and implemented it. I'm almost embarrassed for the builder. And they made such a mess here in this corner here when they originally gooped it all together, but we have to clean all of that up, And we're going to make it look just perfect with beads of silicone. Well, if you're looking at all this lovely pinstriping and you're wondering, hey, what is all this? And you put it right in the corners here because it gives you nice straight edges all the way up. So if you've ever seen people that try to caulk the showers over the years, it gets real sloppy. Like they'll have it coming all the way over here and all the way over here because they don't know how to tool it. And usually it's because they squirt out too much of it. And when they try to tool it flat, it just snow plows off their finger and goes all over the place. But if you use this blue tape, it gives you perfect edges and you don't have to worry about what mess you're making. You just come in and you just go right down the line with the tube like this. And then when you're done, you just come right back down the line with your finger and then you got perfect edges. And if you look here at some of these corners here, what I've done, and let me show you, a lot of this has to do with because of this foolishness right here I pointed out earlier from the builder. Now look at this, see that pushes in. And this says to me, the builder was so stupid that they didn't even put any support behind these panels here in the shower. So they were relying strictly on these perimeters to support them. And you can see over the years, a number of people have tried to fix this. But the problem is they were using improper technique, improper caulk. And I'm coming in now with the perfect solution for this, which is a siliconized caulk that has sand in it. So it's a sanded siliconized caulk. And this is color matched usually to whatever grout you make. So what's perfect about this is when you grout tile if you're tiling up the wall and you grout and you put this caulk in, it would be matched completely. I mean, and it's made by Mappy. So I use their grout and I use their caulk, and so it matches absolutely perfect, and you can't tell the difference. It looks just like caulk. The caulk looks just like the grout when you're done. So because of this, you can see what I've had to do in order to be able to seal these holes here that they've left, these wide gaps. You got to give the silicone something to grab onto on both sides. So I've backed off 1/8 of an inch. So all the way around here, you can see wherever I want to go here, I've backed off 1/8 of an inch on this wall and 1/8 of an inch on this bench here, so that I'll get a nice concave edge. That's what you want, a nice concave edge to your caulk, so that the water hits the wall, goes down the concave edge, and comes down the bench. So anywhere you have a plane, a change of plane, you want to get a good concave shape there. You don't want to just have a little line of caulk filling a crack like this, you know, and then you have little gaps in that filling along the bottom, and that's why people ran into problems here. So we're going to caulk this in right now, and you'll see when we're done how much better it is. And by the way, when you use blue tape or use any kind of tape to help caulk your edges, always pull the tape off immediately after you caulk. The reason is, especially with the silicone, it starts curing within a couple of minutes. So if you wait more than 5-10 minutes, you're already going to be in trouble, and you're going to see it's peeling right back out with you. So you want to peel it off immediately as soon as you tool it in with your finger. So let's get started. All right, so this is the product that we're using here. Again, like I said, this is made by Mappy, and I'm using the biscuit color, which is pretty much as close as I can get to this wall here. And so this is what they call the Caracaulk S. The S means it's sanded. Make sure you get the right stuff, because you'll see Caracaulk U, that means unsanded, and you do not want to get unsanded. For this application in the shower here, I prefer to use sanded. It gives it a lot more strength, and the sand provides, I think, a little bit more imperviousness to the water that might try to leak in anyway. So anyway, and you can see I gave it a little bit bigger hole than I normally cut, simply because we're going to glob this stuff into these big thick channels that I've already taped off for it. Normally when I cut my caulk, the tip of the nose there, I usually make it as small as I can possibly get it and still fit the little poker from the caulking gun into the thing there. And the reason is normally, you know, less is more when you're doing corners and stuff, and or any kind of caulking along the edges. It just looks a lot more professional when you can lay down a nice thin bead of caulk there and just tool it down, and it looks really good. So we're going to go ahead and get this into place. So we've started up in the corner and we're just going to work our way down the edge here. And this is why we can make as much mess as we want. And I'm going to stop there just to do that little bit to show you. We can make as much mess as we want because we've got the tape there. So we're just going to come in and tool it down. And when we're done in a couple of minutes, we're going to peel all the tape off from all the spots that we've done. Alright, so we've completed putting the caulk in, and you can see that, you know, some amateurs might make it look like this on their wall normally, right? So by having this tape, it allowed us to be a little sloppier than we normally would be. So now that it's all been applied, and this only took a couple of minutes to do all of this, we're going to peel off this tape to reveal our edges. Okay, so here's the first piece coming off. You can see how it's staying nice and straight all the way down there. It's looking nice and professional on this side anyway. And once we peel all the tape off, we'll see how it looks. And you may have to come back and retool a little bit too. Well, here you can see we've pretty much got all the tape off. And we're looking at some pretty crisp, clear lines here. So this was a successful patch up. We're going to let it dry overnight, and we have to do a water test tomorrow to make sure that no water gets anywhere past any of these seams. And I suspect because of the size of this gap here, you can see there's still some areas that we couldn't quite get full. We're going to have to come back with a second coating up in there. We're going to tool this down a little smoother here. We have to put a second coating in there just because that gap was so large. Most caulk won't handle more than 1/4 inch gap, and on this right side here it was over 1/2 inch to begin with, so we got lucky it even covered that much. We'll have to come in and fill the rest with a second coating once this dries.